For over 2 decades, she reigned supreme in daytime television. A no-nonsense demeanor, a razor-sharp tongue, and a reputation for justice that outshone even the Supreme Court in public trust. But then, she vanished. This is not the story of a fall. It's the story of a queen who rewrote her own rulebook. Before she was a television icon, before the millions and the media empire, Judy Sheindlin was simply a woman searching for purpose. In 1965, she passed the New York State Bar examination and immediately jumped into the corporate legal world, working for a major cosmetics firm. But the suits and boardrooms didn't excite her. 2 years in, she made a decision that would shape her path forever. She left her job to raise her children, Jamie and Adam. But Judy was never one to stay idle for long. The courtroom wasn't just a job for her, it was a calling. After spending a few years at home raising her children, Jamie and Adam, Judy began to feel the itch again. The energy, the drive, the sense that she was meant to do more than laundry and PDA meetings. While she loved being a mother, something inside her burned for greater purpose. By 1972, the world had changed, and so had Judy. Women were beginning to break through societal expectations, and Judy Sheindlin wanted to be at the forefront of that movement. But this time, she wanted more than just a paycheck. She wanted impact. Then came a conversation that would shape her destiny. A friend casually mentioned that the New York Family Court was looking for prosecutors. It wasn't glamorous work. In fact, family court was one of the toughest assignments in the legal world, full of emotional, heartbreaking cases involving abuse, neglect, and custody battles. But that's exactly what drew Judy in. She applied, she impressed, and she was hired. Her first days on the job weren't easy. Judy entered a courtroom filled with sadness, rage, and shattered families. But she didn't flinch. She stood firm. She was known for her sharp tongue, her zero-tolerance attitude, and her deep empathy for children and families caught in the chaos of the legal system. This wasn't a show. This was real life, and Judy Sheindlin thrived. Over the years, her no-nonsense, tough-love approach gained attention. Her presence in the courtroom was electric. Attorneys knew not to come unprepared. Parents knew they couldn't manipulate her. And children, those often silenced in the system, found in her a quiet champion. Judy once said that she believed in swift justice, not delayed by bureaucracy or drowned in legalese. She spoke in plain terms, demanded the truth, and never let anyone waste the court's time. Little did she know, these very qualities, the fire, the fearlessness, the fierce demand for justice, would one day catapult her from the echoing halls of family court into the hearts of millions of TV viewers around the world. This was the spark, the beginning. The courtroom wasn't just a job. It was the stage where Judy Sheindlin would rise to become Judge Judy. In the gritty halls of New York's family court, Judy wasn't just a lawyer. She was a force of nature. Her reputation for being tough, decisive, and fearless caught the attention of then-Mayor Ed Koch, who appointed her as a criminal court judge in 1982. 4 years later, she became the supervising judge of Manhattan's Family Court Division. Her courtroom was swift and sharp. Justice was served hot and often harsh. Critics labeled her harsh. Judy disagreed. She believed in fairness with finality. Then, in 1993, something happened. Her husband, Josh, a writer for the Los Angeles Times, penned a profile piece on her. That single article changed everything. It caught the eye of talent managers at Rebel Entertainment, who introduced her to CBS. Soon, she was featured on 60 Minutes. The audience, instantly obsessed. The public wanted more. So did CBS. 1996. A show was born. Judge Judy. The concept, simple. Judy presiding over small claims cases. But the execution, electrifying. There was one problem early on. Judy didn't vibe with her bailiff. She needed someone steady, someone with chemistry. That's when she remembered a letter she received in 1995 from Petrie Hawkins Bird, a former courtroom bailiff who admired her work. He offered to don the uniform again. When Judy called, Bird already knew the answer before she asked. That phone call wasn't just about a job, it was destiny dialing in. Petrie Hawkins Bird, a former bailiff in her Manhattan courtroom, had read about Judy's upcoming television show in an article about her book, Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining. Something about it stirred something deep inside him. He admired her grit, her honesty, her unapologetic style. He wrote her a heartfelt letter saying that if she ever needed a bailiff again, he'd happily put on the uniform one more time. So when Judy reached out, Bird didn't hesitate. He didn't need time to think. This wasn't just a reunion. It was the creation of one of the most iconic partnerships in television history. What followed was pure magic. From the very first episodes, viewers saw something different. Judy's sharp-tongued, laser-focused presence was perfectly complemented by Bird's stoic calm and quiet strength. He didn't speak often, but when he did, it counted. Whether it was his signature order, "All rise," or a quick deadpan reaction to a ridiculous litigant, Bird became the anchor in the courtroom chaos. Together, they created a rhythm that was impossible to fake. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't forced. It was real. The tough judge and the unflappable bailiff became TV gold. Judge Judy began as an experiment in syndicated daytime programming. But it didn't take long before it was more than just a courtroom show. It was a cultural phenomenon. Ratings skyrocketed. People tuned in religiously, watching not just for justice, but for the entertainment, the wit, and the undeniable chemistry between Judy and Bird. The courtroom became a stage, and every episode, a masterclass in tough love, sharp reasoning, and no-nonsense truth. By the early 2000s, Judge Judy was pulling in 9 to 10 million viewers per day. It wasn't just the top courtroom show, it was beating the Oprah Winfrey Show, a feat few thought possible in daytime television. And at the heart of it all was the dynamic duo, a fiercely intelligent woman who didn't suffer fools, and the bailiff who always had her back. They weren't just co-workers, they were icons. At its peak, Judge Judy drew 9 to 10 million viewers daily. Her face was plastered across pop culture. She was referenced in comedy sketches, music, late-night shows, and everywhere in between. And despite being snubbed at award shows for years, the world took notice. Judy received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2006 and was inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame in 2012. Then, in 2013, after a staggering 15 nominations, Judge Judy finally took home its first Daytime Emmy Award. It was long overdue. 4 years, Judy Shineland had been one of the most consistent, most watched, and most respected figures on television. Yet the official accolades had eluded her. When the Emmy finally came, it wasn't just a trophy, it was validation. And it didn't stop there. Judge Judy went on to win Emmys again in 2016 and 2017. Then, in 2015, Judy shattered yet another milestone, the Guinness World Record for the longest-serving judge or arbitrator in the history of courtroom-themed television programming. At this point, Judy wasn't just part of pop culture. She was pop culture. Her popularity transcended television. She became the subject of memes, comedic impressions, and tributes. Her no-nonsense lines like, "Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining," became household quotes. And beneath the witty barbs was something people admired deeply. She demanded accountability and didn't compromise her standards. With fame came staggering fortune. In 2005, her salary hit an eye-watering $25 million per year. But that was just the beginning. By the 2010s, CBS upped the ante and began paying her $45 million annually, making her the highest-paid television personality, male or female, on air. Judy Shineland wasn't acting. She wasn't reading lines. She was simply being herself, and cashing in on it in a way no one else in TV court history had. By the time Forbes took notice, she was listed among the 20 richest women in entertainment, boasting a net worth close to $100 million. But not everyone was clapping. Critics emerged, some from the legal community, questioning the ethics of a courtroom-style show raking in such wealth while real-life judges toiled in obscurity for modest public salaries. Was she profiting too much from justice? Was her courtroom too theatrical? Some even accused her of being out of touch, especially with the lower-income litigants she often berated. Her once-admired toughness was, in some circles, now viewed as cruelty. But if Judy heard the criticisms, and she certainly did, she didn't flinch. Because by now, she wasn't just a judge. She was an empire. Critics argued that real judges, grinding day in and day out in real courtrooms, earned a fraction of what she made. Others accused her of growing impatient and cold, especially toward people from lower-income backgrounds. Fans noticed too. While early episodes showcased her sharp intellect and fairness, Later ones often showed a more irritable, dismissive side. Behind the scenes, the pressure was mounting. The show filmed endlessly. Litigants were flown in, housed, and paid. Some allegedly even faked disputes just to get on TV. Judy never rested, and it took a toll. March 30th, 2011, started like any other filming day, but Judy felt off. As a new case began, her world went dark. She collapsed. Rushed to the hospital, doctors confirmed she had suffered a mini-stroke, but the Iron Judge refused to yield. Later that year, she signed a new contract with a pay raise and declared she wasn't going anywhere. In 2014, she launched a spin-off, Hot Bench. But that project would soon come back to haunt her. As Judge Judy flourished, lawsuits started piling up. In 2016, Rebel Entertainment Partners and its president, Richard Lawrence, people who helped launch her career, sued CBS. They accused the network of overpaying Judy to avoid sharing profits with Rebel. They argued that CBS and Judy were hiding profits and spin-offs to keep more for themselves. Judy fired back. She called Lawrence greedy, accusing him of being ungrateful after making $17 million off her show. The court sided with Judy in 2018, affirming she was worth every penny. But that wasn't the end. In 2020, new lawsuits emerged. Old allies like the trustees of K. Switzer and Sandy Spreeman, the very people who introduced her to CBS, claimed they were owed royalties. Again, Judy emerged victorious. The case was dismissed in 2021. Still, it wasn't all legal drama. There were personal betrayals too. When Judy began planning her new show, Judy Justice, she made a shocking decision. She left out her longtime bailiff, Bird. Her reasoning? She couldn't afford to pay him. Fans were outraged. Bird had stood beside her for over 2 decades. He wasn't just a supporting cast member. He was part of Judge Judy's soul. The fallout was swift. Viewers blasted her decision. Bird later revealed that he had never been treated like a friend off camera, despite years of loyalty. Even during the first Emmy win, Judy sat 20 rows ahead of him. She let someone else accept the award. The hurt was real. Realizing her mistake and the backlash it caused, Judy later brought Bird back, but not to Judy Justice. Instead, he became part of a new spin-off, Tribunal Justice. It was a partial reconciliation, but the damage was done. After decades of on-screen chemistry and behind-the-scenes loyalty, fans couldn't help but feel the absence of Petrie Hawkins' Bird when Judy stepped into her next chapter. The world had changed, and so had television. But Judy Shineland, as always, wasn't looking backward. In 2020, she made an announcement that shook her millions of devoted viewers. Judge Judy would be ending after a record-breaking 25-year run. But this wasn't a retirement speech. It was a rebirth. Judy had no interest in hanging up her robe or fading quietly into the background. If anything, she had a new fire in her. She had a vision, a modern courtroom show that would reflect the evolving audience, adapt to the streaming era, and bring justice to a whole new generation. Enter Judy Justice. Premiering on IMDb TV, Amazon Freevee. Judy Justice wasn't just a new show, it was a reimagining. Gone was the iconic set of Judge Judy. In its place was a sleeker, more vibrant courtroom, a new cast, and a fresh approach. But the core remained, Judy's unmistakable blend of logic, sass, and no-nonsense justice. But this time, she wasn't standing alone. In one of the most touching additions to the show, Judy introduced her granddaughter, Sarah Rose, a law school graduate, as her law clerk. It was more than just casting, it was symbolic, a literal passing of the gavel. The fiery matriarch bringing in the next generation to sit by her side and witness firsthand the power of the bench. Sarah added a refreshing dynamic to the show. She wasn't just there for show. She took notes, offered legal insight, and connected with younger viewers who saw themselves in her. Critics initially questioned if Judy Justice could live up to its predecessor. But Judy answered in the best way she knew how, with results. The show became one of the top-streamed courtroom series, proving that her wisdom, charisma, and authority translated seamlessly into the digital age. She didn't just adapt, she dominated. From the syndicated airwaves of the 90s to the algorithm-driven world of streaming, Judy Shineland didn't just survive the media landscape, she continued to shape it. The Queen of Daytime Court had officially become the undisputed ruler of streaming justice. Where is Judge Judy now? She's Judy Justice, more powerful, more relevant, and more determined than ever. Her legacy is unrivaled. Over 12,500 televised cases, dozens of awards, billions in viewer minutes, and a place in American pop culture that no other judge, real or televised, has ever claimed. She isn't just a woman with a gavel. She's a brand, a symbol, a living legend. She showed us what it meant to stand your ground, to speak the truth, even when it's hard. She taught millions that justice doesn't need to wear a crown, but if it did, it would look a lot like Judy Shineland. From the New York courts to the halls of Hollywood, Judy built more than a show. She built an empire, and she's not done yet.